guys, Asher coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Glad to have you here. How you guys doing? I am doing well. Spent the whole entire weekend car shopping, which I absolutely hate to do, but my lease is up, and I really want a Jeep. So, here's to hoping. Here's to hoping we have a new vehicle in a week or two. Anyway, guys, I'm so sorry to whoever left this comment. I screenshotted it like a couple weeks ago, and for whatever reason, I'm an idiot, and I did not include the name. So shout out to whoever left this comment. But can you please do a video on team positioning and how much it matters? You mentioned that you play Syl next to a champion so that you would prioritize them for a revive. I'm still fairly new, don't know all the details like that. Thanks for the awesome vids. Well, you're welcome, man. And 15 people at least agreed to you, so this video is guaranteed 16 views.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like,
sign me up. Sign me up! So let's talk about all the ways that that the position order matters in Raid Shadow Legends. So a position order matters whether you have a team of 4 champions or whether you have a team of 5 or even 6 for Hydra Clan Boss. So position 1 is where Duchess is, position 2 is where Heffrak is, position 3 is where Nekrat is, in position 4 is where Hegemon is, right? So again, on a dungeon team, just to make sure we cover all our bases here, we'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? In Hydra Clan Boss, same type thing, right? In Hydra, I gotta get my keys done here. I'm slacking on my keys.
So you do have a plan? No, not really.
Hydra would be, what am I doing? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So 4, 5, or 6 champions, it does not matter. It goes in that same order, okay? Starting with the aura lead and then moving down and then up and down and up. So let's talk about all the ways that it matters. Let's actually start out in the arena here, and that is when you're attacked by an AoE attack in Raid Shadow Legends, you're not all hit at the same time. It might feel like all your champions are hit at the same time, but that is not actually the case. They're actually hit according to their position in that order. So why the heck does that matter? Well, it matters for champions who are doing something when they're hit, right? So, some obvious examples here. Let's just go to the first one that I see, which is probably going to be the legendary that first comes to mind.
and we'll rise up.
Well, it's actually Krisk, so I passed him.
Hey, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
So there's a lot of champions, actually more than you might think, but let's just go ahead and put Kyoku. Let's come up with 4 of them right now. Kyoku, Chris the Ageless, and then let's go ahead and go with like Vogoth and maybe like Seeker, okay? You might be running Seeker in the lead because he has a defensive aura, but you might not as well. So let's go Seeker. Sandlash Survivor is another one. Again, these are champions that have passives that do something when they're hit, right? So Vogoth, where are you? Right in front of my face. There we go. So Kyoku, for example.
Kyoku.
No, well, no, actually,
Kyoku.
On the passive, every time this champion is hit with a critical hit, heals all allies by 15% of their max HP, then places an increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. So, when an AoE attack comes in, we want Kyoku to be positioned as close to the front of the line as possible. Granted, the heal isn't going to matter. Not going to be healing anybody if she takes the damage first, but the increased defense is going to matter. We want increased defense on all the allies before they're hit. So again, very, very important there. Same exact thing on Seeker. Passive, very, very similar, right? Puts increased defense on all allies when hit with a critical hit for 2 turns. So we want to have Seeker positioned towards the beginning. Krisk, same thing. He's placing a decreased defense and a decreased attack on the attacker when he is hit, okay? So, again, even if you can't position them, because Krisk, for example, doesn't have an aura, right? So, no worries. Just position him in spot number 2 or, spot number 3, depending on what the other champions in your group are doing, okay? So, obviously, Krisk will be hit second in line now, applying those debuffs to the attacker before everybody else is hit. Now, why does it matter? Well, maybe for retribution, counterattack, stuff like that, you'd rather have that decreased defense on, before everybody else gets hit with their AoE attacks, right? So that is why turn meter matters, number 1, okay? Number 2, the second reason that turn meter matters in this game is for counterattack an ally attack, okay? So this is really, really important. Let's go ahead and talk about a blender comp, right? Because this specifically pertains to, well, I shouldn't say just blender comps, any ally attack team, any counter attack team, they're gonna go in order of position. Let's go to the one of the most famous blender comps inside the game, right? And that is Skullcrown, Sinesha. Let's just go Farrakhan the Fat as well. Where are you, Fat Man? There we go. And then let's get, let's just throw a random in here just for the heck of it. It should be an AoE. Let's just make it somewhat realistic. Let's put Bellower in there, right? And then Sinesha, right? So this really matters on a blender comp, right? But it really matters on any ally attack team, any counterattack team, because you want your attackers who are doing something beneficial with their A1 ability, you want them to go first, especially if it's a decreased defense. Actually, you know what? Let's put Ray in here, and we can really show off why it matters. Where is Sinesha, and why am I so blind?
You look like yourself.
What am I doing here?
Somebody else.
I'm kind of retarded.
All right, there she is. Jeez, Ash, you're gonna spend half the video going through these champions, dude. All right, so let's go ahead and get Ray in here, and we'll talk about why this matters. So first of all, Ray's A1 is attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance to place a decreased defense. So you might say we want her first. We want decreased defense to go up first on all the enemies on an ally attack. Farrakhan the Fat is going to be the ally attack champion on this team. And then next we have Skullcrown. Skullcrown attacks all enemies, places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP. So we want her next, okay? Because they're gonna probably have more than 50% HP. You might even argue, hey, have Skullcrown go first, take advantage of her speed aura, and then get that extra hit, and then have Ray go and apply the decreased defense. But either way, we want to make sure that we have Sinesha after Skullcrown. Attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on enemies with less than 50% HP. You get what I'm saying? So she's going to get those two hits in there because we already have Skullcrown going, and in this case, Ray, to kind of soften everybody up to make sure they're below 50% HP so we can get that additional hit off of the Burning Wave ability of Sinesha, okay? The third way that it matters the positioning order here on any team, and this is a little bit more niche, but it bears mentioning, if you have the same speed on champions, okay? Let's just pretend that Tomb Lord and Ninja and Raglan, let's pretend that all three of these champions have the same exact speed and we're in like a PvE environment, right? Or anywhere, right? So how are we going to tell which champion goes first? How are we going to be able to predict? And sometimes this happens. Sometimes you have champions who both have the same exact speed, and you might care which order they go in. There's so many different reasons you might care about, you know, the speed of your team. For example, what if your nuker and your debuffer have the same exact speed? Who is going to be going first? Well, it's going to be dictated by position. I guess that's probably a good example. Let's just pretend that we're using Ray as our debuffer. Obviously, she's not the...
Can't you do anything right?
Well, let's use a realistic example here, Ash. Come on, man. Let's pretend that we're using a Ragash as our debuffer, and we had the same speed on Corrado, right? Well, it's going to go by order, position order. So, same speed, if I had it like this, Corrado in position number 1, he would be going first before our debuffer. So we want to make sure I have a debuffer before our nuker, okay? That's just one example, but again, when speeds are the same, it's going to revert back to the actual positioning order. Now, the next reason, guys, let's go back to Kyoku for a second here. So Kyoku is an amazing ally protection champion, right? So protectors really matter. Now, Kyoku is actually, let's not use her because she's kind of a unique case because she has ally protect and she also has that passive. So we can make a case for putting her early or late in our turn meter order. Let's use Vizix the Unbowed instead, another ally protector. So an ally protector, if they die, right, they're going to be soaking up the damage, on all allies positioned before them first. Champs who are positioned after them will not be soaked up the damage, okay? They will not get that ally protect applied to them. So generally speaking, as a rule of thumb in Raid Shadow Legends, you want to have your ally protector go last or close to last, right? This is why everybody says to put a Skull Crusher, for example, in that 4th position or that 5th position in Clan Boss, right? That last position. So if for some reason you want another champion to go last, you go ahead and put them in the 2nd to last position, but obviously really important that you put that ally protector low in the order. Similar with Chris, right? We talked about it. He has a unique passive, but he's also an ally protector, so you're going to make those decisions based on the team that you are using and what makes sense for you. All right, guys, the next one is going to be the revive order based on what the comment said kind of earlier in the video, right? So we have our reviver here is going to be, let's just go, I'm sick of classic arena here. Let's go into a dungeon, guys. Okay, so here in Ice Golem, guys, let's pretend that Syl the Drakes, and man, when are they gonna add these skins to the game? Don't they look so cool? Maybe I'm biased, but good old, oh my god, this Lavaborn skin. Syl, baby! Oh, baby! Okay, I'm sorry, I digress. The Azure skin, though? I mean, that's pretty badass, too. I can't lie, guys. I can't lie! Alright, reviving order is going to be dictated by position as well, so let's just throw some other champions in here, none other reviver. So, let's just pretend that on the same attack, we have, well, let's put a realistic defensive aura lead in there, right? On the same attack, let's pretend that, Basata and Foley both die. Well, Syl, if it's on auto, who's she gonna revive? That's right, Foley, right? So she's gonna, what happens if Ignatius dies and Grohawk dies? She's going to revive Ignatius before Grohawk, okay? So why does that matter? Let's pretend that we had 2 revivers on the team, right? There's so many different reasons that it could matter, but let's go to Cardinal, for example, right? Well, Cardinal's yeah, why not, right? So let's pretend that Cardinal dies on this squad, right? So Cardinal dies. We definitely want her to be positioned as close to the front as possible. That way Syl the Drakes will pick up the other reviver to cover her in case Syl dies, right? Or in case anybody else does. So basically revival order is going to be dictated on single target revives. It's going to be dictated on position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So guys, before I let you go, position order can play a factor against clan boss as well, right? In terms of who is going to aggro the clan boss, who is going to be taking those stuns off of the single target A1 ability of the Demon Lord. However, massive caveat, you really can't depend on this one. It's not something that you really can factor in that well because it is one of the weakest factors, right? In terms of who's going to be taking aggro from the clan boss, so many factors are involved. So to stress out about the champion order in your clan boss team, or position order a clan boss team, sure, it's nice for debuffs, for all the reasons we already spoke about. But just for the aggro, for ally protection, of course, right? But just for the aggro of the clan boss, I wouldn't really look into it or worry about it a ton, right? Masteries, buffs, affinity, HP, all of these things play a factor into who's going to be aggroed by the clan boss. So position order is one of those factors, but it's a little further down the line than some of the other factors that I already spoke about. Now, I wanted to mention one other thing. It's super niche, and I actually found this on Reddit today. Let me show you. So the poster here says, there are some other interesting effects, though, specifically for Tormund freezes. If you put your booster in the back and they get frozen during the boost, if your booster is in the front, no one gets boosted, and you get cut. If your booster is at the back, the boost goes out to everyone, and then they get frozen, no cutting. Again, so let's pretend Apothecary was our booster, right? If he's positioned in the back of our arena team going against Tormund, according to this post, he is going to still, maybe he'll still get frozen, but he'll get his boost off on everybody first. If he's positioned early on in the order, he'll just get frozen and he won't get his boost off. So go ahead and feel free to test that one out, guys, but I thought I'd share it with you guys nonetheless. Hopefully this answers your question as to why position order matters in Raid Shadow Legends. I was actually looking out there for another YouTube video on this topic. Couldn't find anything out there. So hopefully it helps a lot of you guys out there, especially newer players who may not have known about all of these. Maybe you knew about a few, but not all. Either way, guys, I'm rambling now. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.